Hi, my name is Elizabeth Preston, Director of Information Technology at St. Luke's School, and I'm here to give you a short summary of the inaugural year of St. Luke's 1+1 program. And I want to first say a huge thank you to the Learning and Technology Task Force, chaired by Tracy Duncan, and the committee work which occurred afterwards with Mike Cleary and Jennifer, which really helped shape and drive where we are today. The St. Luke's is give you a sense of how things worked. After the committee work, we spent a good part of our fall and into our into the winter, really coming to terms with the devices that we would be purchasing, the payment schedule, whether we were going to buy them outright or lease them, discussing the leasing terms, and also insurance on the devices. And with that all in place, in the spring of last spring, we went ahead and ordered all of the technology, and it arrived to campus in June. And if you can imagine the amount of devices and the amount of cardboard that was on campus, it was really quite remarkable. We were lucky enough to hire 4 college interns who spent the month of July working with us. I've gone ahead and figured out the number of hours that they were working, along with Roger Dageston, PJ Clark, and I working pretty much 4 days a week, all day, and preparing those machines for deployment, which ended up being approximately 896 hours, and that was just the summer July work. What resulted in that was, the interns spent a good deal of time, labeling, unboxing, assigning, imaging, and developing the orientation schedule. And in August, we had our rollout, and it occurred. We had 4 different rollouts. We had a orientation for new 9th and 10th graders receiving their iPads, and they participated in about a 4-hour orientation to get set up and running. Then we met with all of the 9th and 10th graders over 2 different days, where they also rotated through a schedule covering topics like academic and classroom expectations, applications, and OS overview. They acquired all of their e-texts, got mail, contacts, and calendars set up on their devices, talked about respectful use, acquiring their iPad apps, and so on. So it was quite a intensive orientation, but really wanted them to get as much covered so that they could really hit the ground running once school started. And that was approximately, in looking at those schedules, we also had the 8th grade orientation of iPads, which has typically and will typically stay in the first week of school. So we had the new 9th and 10th graders getting iPads, 9th and 10th graders getting their returning students, and everybody actually getting their laptops, because those 9th and 10th graders already had their iPads from 8th grade, and then all of the 8th graders getting their iPads. So, and ultimately what that resulted in was we currently have in this 283 iPads, 165 laptops, and 400, which equals 448 devices. In this 283 iPads also includes we have all of our level 1 languages, Spanish, French, Latin, and Chinese are offered in a blended format. And those students that are not 9th and 10th graders, we were able to pull from a upper school cart and assign those to those students. So this number also includes really any device assigned 1-to-1, which includes those blended students as well. Once the devices are deployed, we launched a new program, which I'll talk to you about in a second, called Brainstorm. But we were able to reconfigure a space, which were the office for Roger Dageston and PJ Clark, in a workspace, and opened it up and installed some beautiful glass. So we've gotten a chance to go down into the history wing. We have charging stations, and tried to set it up like a Genius Bar space so that students would be comfortable to come in and ask questions, get help where needed. And we also have a charging station in there for them if they need to charge their devices throughout the day. So that is in large part, a lot of that involves the work of students as well, and the launch of a new program called Brainstorm. And we wanted to call it a Student Genius Bar, but Apple unfortunately owns the copyright on Genius Bar. So we had a contest that occurred. It was a student contest, which resulted in initially getting ideas, submissions of what they wanted to call the space. And then the entire student body voted on those submissions, and the winner was Brainstorm. We then put this concept of what the space was going to be like and what we were envisioning up on a design contest website. And then the members of Brainstorm reviewed all of the submissions, and this particular logo was the one that won. And it captured this idea that it's, yes, about gears and things not working, but also a space to come for, to get ideas and support. And so it's been, it's our inaugural year. Our hope and goal is to have 2 students in the space every period of the day, serving a number. The main area during the academic day is serving the service of client services, and so being the first point of contact when somebody walks into the room. A lot of the initial questions that people have can be answered by really anybody that's in the space. If it becomes an issue or a broken device or something that requires more password authentication, then we can bump it up to Mr. Clark or Mr. Dageston. But at this point, they're serving this role of client services. So getting the students up to speed of what it means to, when somebody walks into the space, how to greet them, how to make them feel welcome, and part of that they're not just here to, get their device fixed and send them off, that they feel that welcomed and leave empowered. The other 2 areas, as the students are biweekly writing a blog post and monthly creating a screencast. And these are sitting off in the, aren't published yet. They are living in, actually up on Google Drive currently, and we are in the process of building out a website. This logo was signed off probably by the beginning of December. So the students are starting to build out a website that will house the blog posts and the screencasts, and it will be a public URL that will be accessible by anyone. So hopefully through the use of publishing on the site and using Twitter, the students will be able to create a following, both not only here at school but in the broader public. So it's a really exciting start, and it's the hope even in the future is that the students may be even used for professional development too. So anyway, we're small right now and hope to grow in the years to come. So in all of that, obviously when students with 283 device iPads and 165 laptops were due to have things break, and they do break, so I put together sort of our repair records to date and year-to-date records, just to give you a sense. And I apologize, these charts don't look too great, but it'll give you a sense of kind of what kind of traffic we have in regards to breakage. So in 12-13, which was the first year that we had iPads on campus in 8th grade, 37% breakage rate. And essentially this comes about by taking the number of devices deployed and dividing that, the number of repairs into the number of devices deployed, and coming up with 37%. In addition to that, we have 15 the following year. So these 8th graders now went into 9th grade, and we had a 15% breakage rate. And that same new 8th grade class, approximately 44%. Now, just a couple, to give you some clarification on this, there's the number of repairs into the number of devices, but one student may have 3 repairs. So some of these numbers aren't completely accurate, but are very close to the number of of repairs. Definitely the number of repairs are done, but the percentage to the number of devices is off a little bit. In addition to that, we have the year to date, and this is based on the currently this January 7th. So in 12-13, we had 13% of the devices had already seen some service. In 13-14, we were down to 4 and 5% at this point of the year. And in 14-15, currently, we're at 5%, 9%, and 15%. And these are associated with the various classes. So as you can see, now I guess I also want to clarify here is that in addition to these percentages being a little off if a student had more than one repair, you'll see that it looks like in the year to date in 13-14 is considerably less than that of the previous year, and sort of matching back up again this year. I will say that up until this year, all of the devices that a parent is paying a fee on is covered by insurance with a zero deductible. And so students come into us, they hand over their device and say, listen, I've had an accident, and we start a claim right away. And what we've been able to do is we've been able to go directly to Apple and then provide the insurance company the invoice. Once the machines are no longer under warranty, we have to go through the insurance company, and that can take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to get a device back. And with the Apple, we're able to turn around in sometimes as soon as 24 hours, but definitely usually within 36 hours of the repair, of the issue being reported. So as much as we can continue to use Apple and then submit our claims, we'd like to do. So so what a lot of kids were doing is I think they were afraid to come to us, and they'd have this big huge crack in their iPad, and they were just dealing with it. And then you'll see by the end of 13-14, that definitely increased. We were up to 44% of the devices because we had we kind of got all the kids together and did a survey and grabbed anybody that had a repair issue. So anyway, the data is as good as it is, but at least it gives you a sense of where we are with our repairs and the number of devices that come into the space. And love to hear any questions that you may have. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you all on Monday.